Hello, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I am filming this late at night, so my lighting's probably completely and totally off, because I usually film in the daylight, but I can't sleep, so I figured I might as well make a quick video and talk about all of the things that I read for the Nostalgic November Re-Read-A-Thon that I hosted this last week. So this last week was my birthday, and what an amazing week. I literally had something every single day, but somehow managed to still read these books, and I loved rereading them, the two that I reread, and then I read one of my friend's all-time favorite books that I've never read before, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna very quickly wrap things up, share my favorite parts of these books, and if you'll remember, if you are wanting to join in on the $25 giveaway, you'll need to keep your eyes out for the hidden emoji, or rather your ears out, since I'm going to tell you what it is. So here we go. The first book that was on my list was The Hiding Place. This was for the prompt to reread your favorite book of all times, which I have more than one. I can't narrow it down, but this is one of my all-time favorite books. Rereading this was very special for me because this book puts your life into perspective. If you put yourself in the shoes of this family who, before the war, were living a perfectly normal life, living their day-to-day activities and working and having a community with the people around them, it just kind of shows you that we can't take those things for granted, because there could be something around the corner that could take that all away. We're not guaranteed blessings, and this book shows that. I say that wrong. We're always guaranteed blessings, but they're not necessarily in the form that we think of as blessings. And I'll explain that. So in this book, one of the sections is Corey and Betsy are in prison, and they are in one of the concentration camps that is in Holland, and they're in a dormitory. And in this dormitory, there's fleas everywhere that bite them day and night, and they just can't get any relief from the fleas. And Corey is so upset about this, and her sister is telling her they're reading scriptures, and they read the one that talks about being thankful in all circumstances. And her sister said, "There's your solution." And she said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're supposed to be thankful for all circumstances." So Corey starts thanking God, and then Betsy thanks God for the fleas. And Corey says, "That's where I draw the line. I'm not thankful for that." So time passes, and during this time, they're able to minister to these groups of women that are in horrendous circumstances, and they're able to teach them about God and show them the scriptures, and they're doing this completely uninterrupted from the guards. And long story short, it turns out that the guards would not come in to the dormitory because of the fleas. And because of that, God was able to use them to minister to these women who desperately needed God's love during this time. And so, all that being said, blessings can come in so many different ways. So we may not be guaranteed comfort and life like we would like it to be, but if life goes crazy like it did in World War II and the Holocaust, we can always depend on God to be there for us. And that's what this book always reminds me of. I cannot recommend this more for Christians. I think every Christian should read this book. This family, first of all, what I really love about Corrie ten Boom, she does not glorify herself in this book at all. She highlights her sister's faith and her father's faith and the faith of so many people around her. And she does this in such a humble way that it just really makes me admire her. And yeah, this is definitely a must read if you have not read it and you're a Christian. Well, really, if you're not a Christian too, but especially if you're Christian, this is one that I think you should read. Okay, so the next book was to reread a childhood favorite. Now, I did not read this book as a child, but I did watch the movie over and over and over again. And when I read the book as an adult, it just reminded me of the movie so much. So it does bring back nostalgic feelings from my childhood. So I picked A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson. I can't ever say this name without getting tongue-tied. Frances Hodgson Burnett. There we go. Again, I absolutely loved this book. The second time I've read it, it was fantastic. My favorite. I did find this one little quote that just made me crack up. Okay, so Sarah is reading at the time, and they're in the same room as everybody else, all the girls in the house. And the little girl, Lottie, if you've not read the book or seen the movie, this little girl is, let's see, at this time she would be about 7 years old, and she's always just kind of been attention seeking, and she's throwing this big tantrum because the girls in the room aren't letting her play properly. And Sarah's reading, and this if this doesn't describe me and probably every other reader that I've ever met more accurately, I don't know what does. But listen, it says, never did she find anything so difficult as to keep herself from losing her temper when she was suddenly disturbed while absorbed in a book. People who are fond of books know the feeling of irritation which sweeps over them at such a moment. The temptation to be unreasonable and snappish is one not easy to manage. Yeah, that is me all over the place because I read all the time and my children interrupt all the time, and I have to watch myself to not lose my temper. But I loved that quote. I didn't pick it up the last time. I didn't pick it up in the book the last time I read it. My favorite. So, 5 stars. Again, fantastic read. If you haven't read it, you totally should. Okay, so that brings me to the hidden emoji. So, if you are wanting to be entered into the drawing for the giveaway, you have to comment on the first video, which I will link right here or here. I can't ever get that right. That was my TBR video, and you just need to list all the books that you read for the Read-A-Thon. Then in my video that I posted on Wednesday, it's called All the Feels. That one has a hidden emoji in it, and you will need to comment on that video what the hidden emoji is, and then in this video the hidden emoji is a crown, and that is in honor of a little princess. So if you want to be entered, you will have to have commented on all 3 videos with the proper comments, and this one is a crown. Okay, and that brings me to the final book, which is My Side of the Mountain. This was for the prompt, read a friend's all-time favorite. My friend gave me 3 recommendations, and I am gonna check out the other 2, but I actually owned this one, and so I decided I would go ahead and do that since that was the easiest. And I really did enjoy this book. You can tell it's written in a different era though, because I can guarantee if a young man ran away from home and did things that this young man did, that his parents would not be quite so understanding. But I really did enjoy this book. There's several animal friends that he has throughout the book, and they're all so filled with personality. The writing in this book just kind of paints a picture for you of the wilderness that he's staying in and all of the things that he is experiencing. And I really did enjoy this book. I gave this 5 stars because it was amazing, and I really want to read the next 2 books in the series because I want to know what happens. And I'm excited about that because it's been a long time since I've found a classic that I really wanted more from. So I'm happy about this. I can't wait to read the other 2. I've heard amazing things about the whole series. This was definitely a fantastic pick, and I'm really glad that my friend recommended it to me. So that is it for this video. I am so happy for those of you that joined in on the Re-Read-A-Thon in any way that you did. If you read all 3 books, I'm so proud of you and happy that you got the opportunity to do that. If you were unable to read all 3 and you only read 1, or you read part of 1, or you plan on rereading something later on in the month, I'm happy about that too. I think it's something that I've never done. I've never reread a book before, and I'm definitely going to make it part of my yearly routine in reading because I really did enjoy it. It took me back to the first time I read the books, and knowing what was coming didn't make me bored with the books. It made me anticipate the story coming, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I thank you for joining in. I'm excited to see who wins the giveaway and, you know, all the jazz that usually comes at the end of these videos. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.